far away as Hayward. We've received reports so far here along the Embarcadero. 6.4 earthquake caused some major damage to the Ferndale area of Humboldt County. It caused 2 deaths. There, I believe, around a 6.0 magnitude earthquake that was also felt in Humboldt County in December of 7.0 earthquake being felt there in Humboldt County. As far as some of the impacts this morning, AC Transit, also BART's Versa has been stopped in the Trans Bay Tube as BART works to ensure the safety of the trains there.
Yeah, that the tracks are on. Fire captain with San Francisco Fire Department to talk about what they're doing and how they're responding right now. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate your time, Captain.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for covering this.
7.0. So I know there must be actions that you guys are taking as you're trained to do.
The department has a set list of protocols that we follow to make sure that our units are available to respond and looking for damage. We don't have any reports of damage or injuries in the city so far. However, we are following the National Weather Services near the coast. Seek higher ground, 100 feet above ground or 1 mile inland until we have more information.
12:10 p.m., so about 55 minutes from now. Explain what that means, why that time, and what...
Off the coast, under the water. The scientists and researchers are concerned about water being displaced and pushed onto the coast and look at. There's no dramatic waves. Please stay away from the coastlines. The reason information about exactly what's happening in the area.
Are there any areas in particular along the San Francisco coastline that you are especially concerned the coast?
Any area of the coast.
And as you were mentioning, you were waiting to get reports of damage through on your phone as we're having this conversation with you, Justin.
Francisco Fire Department, and of course they always have their procedures. Fortunately, this is not epicenter in the Marina District in particular. Obviously, we're not hearing reports of that with this quake that was far away, but it is ability to turn on the water and make sure that those hydrants are working and connected. Quake that happened about 30 minutes ago now off the coast of Humboldt County in the Ferndale area.
We do want to be, you know, someone that tries to do something for the thrill of it, right? To try and get close to something. This is not the time. He said you want to be at least 100 feet above sea level, is what he also mentioned.
Yes, and then real interest in this, you can kind of see where folks felt it more intensely and where they're reporting 7.0 quake. It was hundreds of miles away, to be sure.
Until it's not a problem. So that just means you do want to take what Julian said, and if you do live near the coast, if the sea level is rising, I just checked them moments ago, and none of the buoys currently are showing a currently over the last 15 minutes, we have not seen a rise in the buoys quite yet along the Northern California coast, but we need to along. It's just this area where 3 plates are 7.0 is a major earthquake, and the epicenter of it did occur over the open ocean water. And when you had just moments ago, so again, if you're just tuning into us, we are tracking this major earthquake that occurred in the Bay Area, and the epicenter of this earthquake is a little more than 200 miles away from the city. Feel it over a pretty wide area when we have a magnitude 7.0. But this is just one of 3 earthquakes, magnitude 6.0, and we also had another one even closer to home here, this 3-minute period. And so it's not rare when you have a magnitude 7 like we had moments ago that it can also trigger a big earthquake like this. And again, for a lot of us locally, the biggest earthquake but those earthquakes were not 7.0s. So that's what we're watching here over the open ocean, is that we had a pretty major earthquake. And just to put it in perspective, and that's why those alerts went off over your phone for the potential of a tsunami. It's just putting you on. They would probably appear just after noon. So in about, let's say, a half hour or so, we could start seeing some first heights, but they were not intense. But that's something we're going to track very closely over the next 30 minutes or so, see if any of these buoys do show. That is well documented. Again, 3 plates coming together, guys. I'll keep checking on those buoy datas. If I flag anything weird, out over in the Pacific at 10:44 this morning.
All right, Drew, thank you so much for that late rumble. And it's pretty much just due east of where this earthquake is. So Eureka would have felt it very strongly. Here's a live camera from the UC San Diego network. But we will say UC Berkeley has just issued an evacuation order from the ocean. It does enter the bay, and it could elevate the level of the water in the bay. So if you're around the bay, still asked to take precaution until we get the all clear on the tsunami. And again, keep in mind, based on the mathematical calculations of don't go near the coast or even the bay shoreline.
Exactly. This is essentially the calm before the storm. But Mayor, tell me where we're looking at right now. Okay, this is down in Pacifica. We are also getting reports that Pacifica Police, they're currently, because around the 12 o'clock hour is where we will be most concerned. We're
Yes.
also taking the live images right. It was near it, and they seem to be in a parking lot where they are trying to, again, get to higher ground there in Pacifica.
Along the coastline and beach. They have evacuated as well. So here is their tweet posting on X. The zoo has closed due to national higher ground, which is what everyone is being told to do right now in the wake of this 7th that I remember in quite some time, perhaps in all my time on the air here. We had the 6.0 earthquake in Eureka area being much less population, much less densely built up with much less infrastructure. Hopefully we are not seeing damage past 1210, and even then, wait for the clearing.
Exactly. And we want to let you know we are going to get you through this. We are not here to alarm or scare you, but we are here to give you the most accurate information. Was when the earthquake was registered. And again, we're giving you live images right here. To the left, have been told to share with our viewing audience to get away from the coast, because in the next 30 minutes is when we expect to see some intense patrolling right now to try and get folks away from the coastline. On the right-hand side of your screen, you are looking at a live image from Eureka, which is close. Again, calm there right now, but we do expect in the coming half hour or so for things to change drastically. But again, on the left-hand side of your screen, half hour. We appreciate our viewers who've been calling in with reports of what they have seen and felt as a result of this earthquake. I'll run down some of these quickly. In Hayward, Sophia, and we feel that earthquake, that energy being dispersed throughout the area. Jose called. He said he lives near Mission Bay, and he received that. Felt the house move sideways in 2 shakes as the earthquake rolled through. We've also received some reports from Sacramento City, felt shaking and saw the dining table and even chandeliers move and shake. In Dublin, Earl told us he felt the shake. Joanne felt the shake at about 10:53 this morning. So again, we've felt reports of shaking, a few reports of damage that off the coast of Humboldt County.
Including in Berkeley, where they have issued an evacuation order due to the tsunami coming to West Berkeley, deemed to be in immediate danger and must evacuate now. They are asking people to stay east of 7th Street. This danger of the incoming tsunami that may be coming to West Berkeley as a result of that earthquake that happened just before we came on the air today.
We begin to feel the effects of the tsunami and the waves that could be associated with it. I was on the air, what was it, maybe 3 or 4, and I vividly remember those live images that we had of the Berkeley Marina, of those boats there that were being tossed around pretty badly away.
Yes.
Here, just, you know, a couple of 100 miles away in Humboldt County off the coast there, that's where the epicenter of that earthquake.
We've been working to pull up the video from 2011 when we had
for the future. So we do expect magnitude 5 or above in the next week in different.
No, great, thank you. Hold on a second. I'm going to mute everybody here. Thank you for that, Christine. Bob, can you give us an update on what
concerned about is human safety. We want to make sure everyone is safe, and we want to ensure earthquake early warning system. It was activated for this earthquake, and we see that alert deliveries the way into the Cascades region, into the west, or to the east, excuse me, and then alert deliveries all the way south. System does is it lets people know that shaking is coming from an earthquake, and so we know the system was activated. It actually performed on our social media channel at USGS_shake alert on X to find out what people actually experience.
On mute if you're not talking, but go ahead, and if there's anyone that has some questions, we're willing to take those now, but please do. All right, Hannah, it looks like
So I just want to clarify a couple of things. It sounds like the 5.8 magnitude happened, or do we not know what the magnitude of that earthquake was?
So the magnitude was overestimated. So it was actually 7 came in. There was a triggering. I looked like 5 minutes ago. It was at a 2.5 for that. So we have one large shock.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
Yes.
And then can I just really quick following up? You were mentioning a bit to people what we know about the risk of aftershocks.
So when there's a large event like this, there's disruption, and we do expect frequency, so how often they happen with time. Right now, we do an aftershock. Now, as of now, for the next week, we can expect a 6% chance or so for magnitude 6 or larger. But the general concept is that earthquakes are expected following a large one, such as a 7. Our page gets updated regularly with the aftershock forecast, because as you can imagine, if we have this was clear enough.
Thank you. That's very helpful. Do we know anything about the origin of these earthquakes? I know that this actually.
Yeah, so this area is very seismically active. There's actually 3 large tectonic plates that connect there. So it is released through these earthquakes. So it's not surprising to have large earthquakes in this area. Magnitude 7.
Sorry, just to clarify specifically the Cascadia subduction zone you're speaking about.
Yes, there's 3 plates. I'm sorry about that. I will gather the proper information for the plate there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Christine, and thank you for the question, Hannah. Just a page that you can click on and get different products in there. Again, I just want to remind you, if you have any questions, go ahead and use the ratings right now. I think we're going to take a break and then come back in about 20 to 30 minutes, and we'll send out.
We were just listening in live to that press briefing from the USGS. We were hearing that one of the point magnitude area, but again, the main concern is still the major, powerful earthquake, 7.0, felt off the coast, leaving Pacifica Beach. There were surfers who were in the water, and we know that the Pacifica police are currently patrolling the coastline. Next 20 to 30 minutes or so. 12:10 is the forecasted time when we could expect to see, asking everyone to get at least 1 mile from the coast and at least 100 feet above sea level. We still are taking these live images, however, but things can get very dangerous. This is exactly what fire departments, police departments up and down the coast are asking folks not to do.
What's happening out there? So as you know, throughout different regions, there are people trying to leave the coastal area, and you can see just past those 2 on the beach, the woman with the dog, what's happening places. You can see there are also official vehicles sharing in San Francisco. We told you the San Francisco Zoo off the Great Highway there. They're getting, they've evacuated already, and now the Grayson Road to the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, which here in San Francisco, the tsunami forecast.
As we get closer to that time and through it, we do also want to let you know that we're hearing that Berkeley police, they are moving folks away into the bay, which could cause some damage along places like the Berkeley Marina, for example. So that's on what we're experiencing. And Drew, other tips that could be helpful as we get closer to that 12:10 time frame.
Get those surfers out. If you maybe know somebody who is at the beach along our coast, good idea, just give them a call, check in with them. They may from Santa Cruz, including the entire coastline of the Bay Area up through Oregon. So this tsunami warning, 3 days or so, no. But the next few hours, we do need to take this seriously. I think that's the #1 question I'm just getting from people for sure, that this magnitude 7.0 earthquake that occurred at 10:44 just an hour ago off the coast. Nothing abnormal, but we have to keep our eyes on these buoys over the next couple of hours, because the epicenter of the earthquake was about 200. If we can maybe take that full for just a second. So what to do? Because tsunami warning is not something that we encounter here on a daily basis. Yes, we know very closely. All of those folks in coastal communities I'm talking about those in Pacifica, Half Moon Bay, Santa Cruz. You want to move inland, get inland a good 100 feet away from the water. And it's a really good idea, right, at a meeting point somewhere that you guys can all get together if we do see waves that do. And of course, we have our network of cameras along the coast, and we're going to be watching this very closely. If we do start to see kind of a so just want to watch the water very closely. The big takeaway, if you live near the coast, you do want to move away, seek some higher ground in the area. Where you see all those yellows and red dots off the coast of Eureka, that is where we had the 7.0 earthquake, guys.
Humboldt County, very close, obviously, to the epicenter of the earthquake, 7 over the floor. Now we want to bring in Carolyn Titus. She is a resident of Ferndale there in Humboldt County. Carolyn, can you hear us okay? News here in San Francisco. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
He got our attention, but miraculously, I just did a walk down our historic.
Here, Caroline. And by the way, I should mention to our viewers that you are the former publisher of the Ferndale Enterprise, so you're very well aware of what we do here in the media and the information.
I can't see what's on your screen, but the Victorian Inn, which is over 130 years old across the street from our house, that's just surveying all the storefronts, the grocery store, the liquor store, etc. It's just stuff off the shelves.
That's what pretty, but I don't see any structural, and that's what you're seeing in downtown, not really structural damage.
No structural damage to bullet.
Oh, that's good to hear. And you're not hearing of any gas line breaches or hearing about any fires or anything like that?
So everybody seems to be, just picking up the pieces and moving on with their day.
Well, that's certainly good news there that there was minimal there in Humboldt County over the last few years in 2021 and 2022. But walking
that first split second saying, okay, is this something I should be worried about? And then you knew it hit and you're like, get outside. Car was jumping about, and we actually have a granddaughter at a preschool, a couple, maybe about a block, was calming these toddlers down and singing the ABC song. And did a terrific job. And
grocery store in Ferndale, I'm sure you're familiar with it. And what I'm seeing is a lot of boxes that have fallen off the shelves and are littering the aisles, so to speak.
9 meter as far as bottles falling off shelves. And when I walked in, the clerk said we didn't lose hardly any wine. So
that's always
we're making the light of the situation because we've heard so far no reports of serious structural damage. The small children are faring well there in Ferndale. Carolyn, we've also been showing images of folks there who are perhaps not heeding the same advice as you are.
Well, we live 5 miles rugged, so we're pretty self-reliant people up here, so we know what to do. Know that I'm not out there, but right. we're used to earthquakes.
Yes, as are we that you were referring to earlier, but we have new footage of some doors from a restaurant or bar that looks like they've fallen off, and, if you will, damage that's expected in the range of this kind of an earthquake. Caroline Titus, thank you so much.
Thank you.
More ago off the coast of Humboldt County, and we want to show you some of the closures in the Bay Area as a result of that up right now, but we will just tell you what we know. We know that the Caltrain system is back in the aftermath, and some other directions on the red line were delayed or paused, and right now, because on the left side of your screen, okay, Sky 7 is over San Mateo County, and anyone who doesn't need to be out on the water right now in the ocean should not be, because we're still under that active tsunami warning. And
imagine trying to get back to the coast before more intense waves that could be triggered from a tsunami could potentially roll in. And the thing it's trying to find us the best pictures to show you, so bear with us as we get a better picture there. On the right-hand side of the screen, though, we are looking from though is currently closed right now.
On the other side of San Francisco is Ocean Beach, and we want to check in with our reporter, ABC 7 News reporter.
Minutes ago, you can see the waves behind me looking pretty strong. We're hearing from seismologists, as you mentioned, the waves related to the tsunami should hit this. Lucy Jones, a seismologist with Caltech, she's actually somewhat optimistic. She says the plates hit in a horizontal movement. A tsunami, as you all know, is a series of waves, and they expect those waves to come in over a period of several hours or to get above sea level 100 feet above sea level. As you mentioned, the roads are closed along the area, and back with what we get. Reporting live, Ansar Hassan, ABC 7 News.
Okay, Ansar, thank you so much. Obviously, we'll be watching very closely what happens there along tsunami-like waves around 12:10 right now. But we are showing this on your screen. We'll read it along with you with that tsunami warning that is a direct impact or result of that strong, powerful evacuation for the people living and working in the areas of Fremont west of 880 and Fremont due to the tsunami. If it is not an absolute emergency, just leave right away and head south and to the east. They're trying to get folks deeper inland.
Yeah, so on the coast does not mean you won't be affected. Around the bay, that water level will operating center in relation to the tsunami. And here's the warning that I think applies to all cities around the bay. So we're seeing messages from Berkeley asking people to stay away from the water. And the message, in fact, from Berkeley, I-80 freeway, Aquatic Park, and all
canceled, is that right?
Yeah, I do want to get you. This just came in within the last 60 seconds or so from the Nagan. They have been looking at the buoys. They have observed no increase in wave heights around those buoys.
Earthquake. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kira Phillips. We do begin with breaking news. The U.S. Geological Survey saying the earthquake hit just before. We've been listening to the coverage out of San Francisco, our ABC affiliate, Alex KGO. What more do you know?
Just a moment ago, that's all the way from the Oregon border down to the Bay Area, where there had been concern that it was going to come ashore. 7.0. But now it was waiting for that tsunami and the potential that a wall of water, a big wave, would come ashore. Nothing has been seen coming ashore.
Okay, so this is good news. Tsunami warning. There was a huge concern. Oh, it looks like we're bringing some live pictures right now, trying to keep. It looks like a lot of looky-loos heading to the coast. No, California. You and I both know can't stop a surfer even when there's a threat of a tsunami. But in all seriousness,
they're right along the beach. They've been telling people to stay away from the water. But as you mentioned, people have been going there anyway. Surfers have been going. They've been in the tsunami coming in. The time had already gone by in much of Northern California, the Bay Area, being the all clear coming in.
All right, well, that's good news. Alex Stone, thank you so much. Definitely takes this story down a notch, but we still want to bring in the tsunami warning anymore. That's good news. What more can you tell us at this moment?
Hi. Very luckily and encouragingly, we've seen that there was a tsunami warning that was issued that has since been retracted. You to listen to local officials, but NOAA has removed that tsunami warning. But again, really encouraging to see that that didn't happen. This was a decent-sized earthquake. A lot of people felt this. People who get earthquake early warnings throughout the field. We've already seen about a dozen or so aftershocks. None have been particularly large, but there might be a few aftershocks that bullet here because there's no tsunami and the earthquake was far enough offshore that most of that strong shaking was underwater.
Something like this doesn't necessarily surprise me, but we also know, William, there can be surprises. Well, good wave. But when talking about subsequent earthquakes, you know, what else are you tracking here? What are your big?
So we will continue to locate earthquakes that the aftershocks that occur from this earthquake. We're always concerned that's unlikely, but it is possible. So it's important for people to know what to do if there is an earthquake and they feel an earthquake, which is that shaking has stopped. Go to higher ground in case there is a tsunami, and always listen to the local officials when a tsunami.
All right, let's bring in Angie. You bet. Let's bring in Angie Lux now, project scientist for earthquake early warning at the Berkeley Seismology Lab. So, and I mean, William seems to think we've dodged a bullet here, but clearly we have to be on guard for a period of time.
Sure, absolutely. A sizable tsunami, and so that's great news. With this particular earthquake, we would expect some aftershock, a larger earthquake that happens after this one, but of course, we don't know. We have no way of estimating or predicting that a larger earthquake will happen afterwards. But again, receive warnings of any future earthquakes that are happening.
All right, so just from what we're still monitoring, what will it be like in the lab now? You know, when something like this happens, how does it get you guys into study?
For the split second when it first happened, there's this wonder of, that they just the other guys testing the system? You know, are they just me? We wanted to see how well the earthquake early warning system did. It did fantastically. We estimated the maximum magnitude of magnitude 6.9 people in Northern California and in Oregon. So again, our earthquake early warning system, so from a research perspective and a project perspective.
Warning system worked. Angie Lux, appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Well, one of the other big stories, Trump. It held the final hearing today with acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe, and members of the task force, like the one in Butler, Pennsylvania, would never happen again. Democratic Congress. There's a lot going on, Congressman, but before we just get your take on the investigation and how Fallon got into it, we just want to take a listen, and I'd love to kind of get your feedback on what went down.
I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you,
Congressman.
Were you the special agent in charge?
To show respect for a Secret Service member, and you are out of line.
I would like to ask him a question, please.
You are out of line, Congressman.
Don't try to bully me.
Order. On our day, on our country's darkest day,
Committee will come to order.
I'm sure you were disappointed that it took away from the true point of today's hearing, but please, just your thoughts on what happened.